Why did I buy a Jeep? Quite a long story. Always wanted one, always liked them. Then I never got one because of various domestic reasons. Let's not go down that path. And then, blow me down, my eldest son, an adult, he buys himself a Jeep Wrangler. He buys it in orange, my favourite colour. My God, was I jealous when he got that. But then that's not the end of it, because he's had it a couple of years. And then he says, hey Dad, why don't we start doing one-on-one, father-son, outback Australia trips, and we'll, just the two of us, no partners, no other siblings, just the two of us, father and son trips. So we go, we cross the Simpson Desert, research it if you need to. Anyway, we crossed this vast, he's waving my hands around, poked him in the eye. He's a good lad, isn't he? Where was I? Crossing the Simpson Desert. We did that 3 times. And then he says, we've got the Jeep. Yeah, fair enough. I poked you in the eye. You tried to nip me on the nipple. That's fair enough. Where was I? We'd cropped the Simpson. We'd gone to the Jeep Nationals, the Jeep Jamboree in Queensland. That turned out to be a 5,500 kilometre trip. In all these desert crossings, over 4 years, desert crossings, and the 5,000 k's to Queensland and back, and Fraser Island. There's a video about Fraser Island. I should link that here. Anyway, and in all these trips, this Jeep never had a problem of any sort. Never broke down, never a failure, never wouldn't start, never even got a flat tyre. Out back in Australia, where there's no phone reception, you can only have contact if you've got a satellite phone, and nothing ever happened and anything went wrong. Made me all the more keen to get a Jeep. Well, then what happened prior to this, we're jumping around a bit, but prior to this, I live 300 kilometres from the city where my boys live, and we get together once a month or so for a meal. And we got together for one of our meals in 2018. And when the meal was over and we were heading outside, my boy says to me, my eldest boy, same one that bought a Jeep himself, loves Jeeps, he said to me, have a look at this, Dad, what's just been released at the Los Angeles Auto Show. And what he shows me is a Jeep Wrangler that's been stretched, turned into a twin cab ute, a truck if you will, a mini truck, SUV truck, just been released as a future production vehicle to gauge reaction. People at the show go, oh my God, it's fantastic. When I saw it, I thought, oh my God, I love it. Never dreaming. In fact, I remember saying to my boy, I wonder if that'll come to Australia. Certainly never dreaming I'd be in a position to get one. So what happens is, 2019, the Jeep Gladiator is released in America, and blow me down, they do actually bring it to Australia, the Jeep Gladiator. So there you go. I'm a big Jeep fan. I love Jeeps. Saw the Gladiator when it was first released, LA Motor Show in 2018. Loved it then. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Dreamed of it. Thought, oh, I'd love to have one of them. Never thought that I would. So what happened is, I said to you, 300 k's to go to Adelaide, see my boys. Went there this on one occasion, and I had a couple of hours to kill because I went early. I had a couple of hours to kill before we all went. Well, we all met for tea. A couple of hours to kill, what does a man do? Goes to the one and only Jeep dealer in the city of Adelaide. When I go in there, car salesman walks up, says to me, can I help you? Car salesman, what else does he sell? How can I help you? What can I help you with? And I laughed and I said, I doubt you'll be able to help me with anything, mate. I'm only in here looking. He says, oh, it's okay. I'll just leave you in peace to look around. What is there anything that particularly interests you? And I laughed and I said, yes, mate, you won't have what I want because I'm too specific about what I want. I want a Jeep Gladiator. But it has to be a Rubicon. And it has to be in the colour Sarge Green. And it has to have the option pack that gives it the painted mudguards and the painted roof, because otherwise normally they're black. And it has to have the off-road package so that it's got the steel bumper bars and it's got the red tow hooks, because I think the red tow hooks look really great on the black steel bumpers. And really, basically, I need the 3 Jeep packages on this one car, and so That's my dream car, but I'm just in here looking. There was an orange one and there was a purple one, and I said I like the look of them. But as I'm talking to this bloke, he has this strange expression on his face, and at the time I thought it was the expression of someone going, oh, here we go. Here's a tyre-kicking, time-wasting old man on a pension. I'm just going to go. So he turns around and he walks off. I'm fine by that. I don't want a salesman hanging around. I want to look at the cars. So what happens is I'm only looking for about 5 minutes, and he comes up to me and he says, I want to show you something, and I didn't want to show it to you until I went and talked to our sales manager. Now, if you've seen any movie about anything to do with salesmen and car salesmen, my God, what is the biggest cliche of all? Well, I can't make a decision, mate. I need to go and speak to my manager. Then he goes around the corner, picks his teeth, has a coffee, comes back and says, oh, mate, you're not going to believe what I could... And, of course, the classic is in Fargo, when they say, no, I'm not buying the paint package, I'm not. And I go, well, I'll have to go and ask my manager. He goes out there, talks to another bloke in the tea room, has a footy going. Then he comes back and says, guess what, I've got great news. My manager's never done this before. He's knocked $100 off the price. And the bloke goes, F me dead, and he signs on the dotted line. So I've heard every cliche by every white shoe salesman known to man. But what happens is, the salesman says, I had to go and speak to the sales manager first just to confirm something. But what you're going to see out the back here is we have got a vehicle I think you might be interested in, and it's been sold. But apparently over the weekend the sale fell through and the guy can't get finance, and we are just about to put it back out for sale. Would you like to come and have a look? So I walk through a couple of cars to the back of the showroom. They're hidden in the back with a sold sign across it. There's a brand spanking new projection of my dream. It's everything. Brand new Gladiator, Rubicon, all the packs, painted mudguards, Sarge green. It's the vehicle of my dreams. I look at it and I'm speechless and dumbfounded because it's the exact car of my dreams. So this was the 21st of November 2023. The sales manager comes up. Sales manager, one step before that, because at that point the salesman has also said, look, if you want to buy this, you're in luck, because Jeep have announced in the lead up to Christmas $5,000 off recommended retail. So you're going to get $5,000 off this vehicle. You're going to pay $5,000 less than the bloke who's just lost finance on this car. Oh wow, that's great. I think that's great. What difference does that make to me? So anyway, what happens next is that this is when the manager comes up and he says to me, you know, I want you to come to my office for a minute. So he takes me into his office and he says, I want you to look at this. And he brings up his emails. And on his one of his emails is from Jeep Australia. And Jeep Australia has sent him an email that day telling him all floor stock is to have another $4,000 taken off recommended retail. So that Gladiator that the salesman just showed me with the sold sign on it is now $9,000 less than recommended retail. Not only that, it was everything I would have dreamed if I had gone into a dealership and they said, here's the book, tick and flick, pick your dream Gladiator. That's what I would have picked. I stood there. It's hard to describe this in a video, especially if you know me, that I just talk under wet cement, never at a loss for words. And I'm speechless because I am looking at my dream fantasy Jeep. To cut a long story short, without going too much into the finances, I say to the stage manager, I might need a little bit of time to put the money together to buy this. Manager says, look, I've been standing talking to you. I can see you're a trustworthy guy. You're not a con artist. How about you put $1,000 down credit, how about you put $1,000 down with your credit card? That is good enough for me. I'll hold the vehicle. How about I give you 2 months to come up with the money? And I tell you what, I'm so convinced I can sell this car. At any point you say to me you don't want to go through with it, I'll give you the whole $1,000 back, because I know I'm going to sell this vehicle like snap. So I sort of think, well, it's very kind of you to do that. If you could sell it like snap, why are you doing this as a favour for me? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So the guy says to me, look, there's no pressure here, Steve. All on a first name basis by this point. He says, there's no pressure here, Steve. Go home, think about it. Ring me in the morning. We can do the $1,000 over the phone or something tomorrow if you're that keen. The car's just sitting here. We'll take the sold sign off it while the sale's fallen through. So I say to the salesman, the sales manager walks up, I say to the salesman, I see you've got a coffee machine over there. How about you go and make me a cappuccino, and I'm going to go and sit down in your lounge, because I just want to think about this. I mean, I walked in here to window shop, and this is a lot of money. My wife doesn't even know I've gone window shopping, let alone buying a vehicle. So he goes off to make me a coffee. I sit down in the lounge. In the lounge, the chair I sit in, lovely leather chair, I'm looking straight out at a Sarge green Rubicon Gladiator. And I think to myself, universe, ancestors, you must have sent me here today. If you sent me here like a week before, it was sold. If you sent me a week later, it might have been gone. You've sent me in here today when they've just found out the sale's fallen through, and it is my dream, ideal Jeep. Leather interior, oh, the list goes on and on. It's just got everything on it you can imagine. So when the salesman came back with my coffee, I said, just get the paperwork. Done. Then, of course, what we'll jump to now is when I came home. So I didn't come home straight away because I had tea with my boys, didn't get home. And so the next day, my wife was out. It was her turn. She was out all day, out with friends. When she comes home, I make her a cup of coffee and I say, absolutely terrified I was. I say, just sit down. We need to have a talk. Now, any married couple, when one says to the other, irrespective of gender, when one says to the other, we need to have a talk. It's never good. It's never good. You don't sit down and say, we need to have a talk because we've just won Cross Lotto. Or, we need to have a talk because I've got some fantastic news. It's always, we need to have a talk, and the other one goes, oh shit. So anyway, say to my wife, sit down, we need to have a talk. I think, how do I break this gently? It's a great joke I know about breaking something gently, maybe another time. So in the end I just say, I've bought a new car. She looks at me, Helen looks at me, and there's no reaction at all, really. It's quite calm. And then she says, what did you get? And I said, I bought a brand spanking new Jeep. And Helen leapt out of the chair, raised her arms and squealed with delight. Can't believe the reaction. And then she's jumping up and down like a 16-year-old schoolgirl, just found out the quarterback fancies her. Anyway, where we're at now, as I scratch his teeth, you see I'm scratching his teeth? As I scratch his teeth, that's how I got to become the owner of a Jeep Gladiator, and bought it without even telling my wife I was going window shopping. Came home and told her, honey, I'm home and I've bought a Jeep, brand new Jeep. And she was over the moon, loves it. And every time we get in the car and we go somewhere in it, she says, I love this car, as do I. There you go, that's how come I got to buy a Jeep. Somebody was looking down on me, and you'll see more about that Jeep in other videos. Cheers. Till next time.